going to talk figures. Thank you so much for joining us today. Apologies for starting just a few minutes late, but it's for good, trust me. Yeah, my name is Choma Ezenwafo, and yes, Talking Figures is where we look at everything business, your source for the latest insights into the world of business, everything economy. Just like today, we're talking about real estate economy, and the timing couldn't just be more perfect. So thank you for joining us. It's Talking Figures. And when you think about the economy of real estate, what comes to your mind? I don't know about you, but what comes to my mind is a report that was released recently by the National Bureau of Statistics that said that real estate recorded nothing, no foreign investment was attracted to real estate in 2022. And so when the new government came in, is 5 months into this new government, a crisis broke out. Of course, you know all of that if you've been following the news on Nigeria Info. But then again, it's also, the year is wrapping up, okay? 2023 is wrapping up and a new government came in. Yes, there's a political crisis, but it only started 5 months after they had come in. The question of, is this government doing enough to attract the foreign investors that we did not have last year? It's a question I'm asking today on Talking Figures, and I need you to be a part of the conversation. Yes, we are live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube as well, and you can drop your comments there. And you can also check out the X account, yes, at Nigeria Info PH. We are there as well, and you can drop your comments there. Do you think this government is doing enough to fix this problem? Yes, it is a problem. If you do not have foreign investors coming into the state, and if you've been following conversations on Nigeria Info, you know that severally we've had Kala that discussed this on Hard Facts. We've had, I think Andrew as well discuss it on Morning Crossfire, looking at the factors that contributed for us to us recording zero. It's not like we had 1, 2, 0. No foreign investor entered River State last year. That is a very shocking and very disturbing data there. We're not the only ones here, about 27 other states, but River State is quite unique. Yes, River State is a unique state, so we cannot be comparing ourselves to other states, okay? Because we are like the second richest state in Nigeria. I don't know if you know, but yes, we are. And we are also probably the only state that has 2 refineries. We are also the only state that's got 2 airports. Yes, we have 2 airports. We have 2 refineries. And we have a seaport. Should I go on? We are unique. We have you have natural resources. And we are old enough. We are over 50 years old. River State has come of age. And we should not be having zero foreign investment in an entire year. 12 months has come and gone again. Let's know, has this government attracted foreign investors? My conversation it's not just going to be with you alone, you that are listening right now. I have a guest in the studio, and he's shown quite a passion when it comes to tracking investors or investments as we have it in the state, or River State specifically. I'm being joined by an industrial consultant and economic activist. He's a river son. He likes to call himself, he says he's a river son, but he's based in Austria. And he's my guest today because he didn't just study law at University of Vienna in Austria. He's also an advisor and consultant to German-speaking countries or companies like the ones in Austrian, German, Swiss. He's consulted for these companies, and he's been assisting and supporting the German and Austrian embassy in commercial affairs. He's also the founder of IFM, a group that advocates for industrial development in Ikwere, River State. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Emeka Assor. He's in the studio live and direct. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, a hot afternoon is been. Hamatan is fully out.
Yeah.
And we are justified to be wearing suits in the studio today. Okay, guys, don't forget we are live on Facebook, and yes, also on YouTube. We are also live, and you can watch live and drop your comments there. The question is still, is the government doing enough to attract enough investors? A question that is quite key at the time that the year is wrapping up, a year that is following a year that data showed that we did not have any foreign investment in 2022. So as 2023 ends and a new government was setting in this year, are we positioning right to attract foreign investors? The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416. Drop your comments there as well. The phone lines will be opened at some point in this conversation. And yes, you get to join and have this conversation. But I would like to know what our guest has to say. And so, Emeka, I'm asking, as an Austrian-based river son with deep ties to German-speaking companies, what's your perspective on the current state of foreign investment in Rivers State?
Well, it's a very sad state.
Really?
I would say that the Rivers State government has not tried at all to attract foreign investors. I would rather say the opposite. I think they're intentionally discouraging foreign investment.
How so?
Yes. From all my work since 2019, I've been trying to bring in Austrian and German investors. And I've noticed that whenever it comes to business, commerce, and economic topics, the government has a deaf ear. I would really say that they're intentionally doing this to make sure that the youths remain poor.
But come on, why would you say? What's your proof that a government that should be going about the business of growing the state would intentionally stop foreign investors?
Okay, let me break it down chronologically. In 2019, December, I visited the former governor, His Excellency Emeka, in the government house with the Austrian commercial councillor. It's on his it's on his Facebook site. You can see the commercial councillor on the pictures with him. That time we had an agreement that we will bring in Austrian juice production. The largest Austrian juice company, Rauchfruchtsaft, which is the largest in the entire Europe. They have $1 billion turnover annually. Wanted to enter the Nigerian market, and from there the ECOWAS market. Port Harcourt was designated to be a first base in West Africa. This was discussed with the commercial councillor in the government house in my presence. The governor agreed. They shook hands. It was also agreed that the juice company will bring along another Austrian company, Alpla, a bottling and packaging company that should also set up in Rivers State. Because if you have juice, you have to have bottling and packaging. These are auxiliary industries that's supposed to come and settle with the juice factory. This would have caused a chain reaction of development. We discussed this. We shook hands. We took pictures in the government house. Even the government media, the Rivers State government media,
government house press.
Yeah, press interviewed the commercial councillor, and he said himself that they're going to bring in juice production and as well other light industries. Now, a few months later, it was agreed upon that the former governor Wike will come to Austria to meet Her Excellency, the Minister of Economics, Dr. Schramberg, who was then the Minister of Economics in Austria, to discuss business. It was also agreed upon for him to meet Dr. Mara, the current president of the Austrian Chamber of Commerce. It was also agreed upon to meet the president of the Austrian Industrialist Union. All these people prepared to receive the former governor, only for him to disappoint and not to come out. He did not come to Austria, and all the Austrian business people that prepared to receive him were disappointed.
What was the reason that was given for the not honoring this invitation?
Well, let me say something. One thing I know is that communication is 90% non-verbal. When someone says something, you also have to watch the body language. The excuse was given that there's COVID. But nonetheless, the former governor came to Hungary. I met him in Budapest for a FIFA occasion. For the occasion, he came.
Okay, we're going to go on a short break, and when we return, you tell us more about this effort by the past administration to attract and how you think it was quite poor and visiting failed us. We'll be back.
The show continues after this break on Nigeria Info.
Info. I'm Choma Isiamafo, and we've been having a conversation about this real estate economy, especially after a data showed that we were not able to attract any foreign investors in 2022. And so, as the year wraps up, or as we get to the last month of the year, almost at the middle of the last month of the year, it's a good time for us to know whether we've been able to change that narrative, or rather change that what we saw. The MBS show us as data that Rivers State was among the states that attracted zero foreign investors. Not a good one for us. And we have a guest in the studio, an Austrian-based Riversman, who he is an industrial consultant, and he helps companies in countries like Germany and Austria to invest in Nigeria. And he's been telling us about efforts to get the River State government to position properly to attract these investors. In fact, before we went on a break, he started with telling us about an encounter he had with the governor after the former governor rather, wasn't able to be in Austria to reciprocate a visit of the Austrian embassy at the time. So I have with me Emeka Assor. Emeka, you were saying?
Yes. So as I said, the former governor came to Hungary. We discussed again in Budapest. I told him about the real appetite of the Austrians to invest in Nigeria and the best places for them to start in River State, Port Harcourt. I later understood that it was just all for photo ops.
That's the visit of the Austrian embassy officials.
Yes.
The ambassador himself, actually.
Not the ambassador, the commercial counselor.
Commercial counselor. Okay.
He's the head of the former commercial counselor. That was the head of the Austrian embassy in Lagos.
Okay.
So what I understood is that the entire visit was just for photo ops and for press release. There was no real interest to follow up and continue with them. Unfortunately, the Austrians were very disappointed, actually.
Okay.
You can imagine I was invited by Her Excellency, the former Minister of Economics, Dr. Schramberg, to her office. I was dressed down and questioned, like, what is happening? How can they invite my governor and he doesn't even reply the letter of invitation? So these are things happening in Rivers State and the public is not aware. It looks like there's nobody interested, but there are actually a lot of foreign investors interested that have an appetite to invest in the largest market in Africa, which is Nigeria. And Port Harcourt is in a very good position to attract foreign investors. As you said before, we have all the logistical advantages.
Okay.
We have the human resources. We have a very educated youth. We have everything it takes. But I'm telling you that these politicians do this intentionally to make sure that everybody remains unemployed and desperate.
That's something that I do not know. Now, let's look at the reality for a government. Could there have been any challenge that because from what you're saying, they didn't respond, they didn't show up, but they received the Austrian embassy officials.
For photo ops.
Really?
Please, let's speak the truth in this state for once. Shall we always pretend?
Okay.
It's for photo. The truth is that the politicians have zero interest in the human development of our youths, because if every of our youths is earning 200k or more due to industrial development and employment creation, who will have time to wear cap and polo on a Monday morning to come out for a rally for 3,000 naira or 50,000 naira? Okay,
now before we get to that, now when we look at this government, because we just talked about the last government.
Yes.
When we look at this current government, and every day in the news we hear the governor talking about commitment to good governance.
No difference to the past government. Zero
really?
Difference. Zero.
What's your proof?
Actually, the new commercial councillor sent a letter in October 2023, just 2 months ago, that she would like to visit Rivers State, because I begged her and told her, please, come to my state. My state is ready for business. She agreed. She sent a letter, and the letter was never replied by the government house.
Really?
Yes.
Up till now? Okay. And now, when you look at other states, Lagos, for instance, and I'm going to say Lagos because Lagos is like the richest state in Nigeria. Rivers State is
for a reason.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Tell me about that.
The reason is they know how to create a friendly habitat for foreign investors to come in. You go where you are invited. You go where we are welcomed. Rivers State is not welcoming foreign investors.
What would it take? What should happen for us to look welcoming? Because I think I do not sincerely find that your one experience is good enough to generalize and say that the government isn't sincere. Because they're going to benefit from it if foreign investors come in. They'll pay taxes and all.
What did you say before? Zero investment.
That's data from last year.
Yeah, but what happened this year? Did you hear any foreign business setting up shop in Rivers State? Did you hear anything like that? Nothing.
Well, Transamadi is still empty. Transamadi used to be an industrial layout.
It will remain empty for now.
Okay, why do you say so?
Because we don't have serious politicians.
Okay. Now, let's look at government as a body now. What must happen? Because we had Professor, what's his name? Patrick. I forget his name. We had Professor Patrick Pat Utomi. Mm-hmm. We had Professor Pat Utomi here a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about the efforts that were put into turning the Transamadi area to setting up that industrial layout. And at the time, we had foreign investors. And then at some point, they all started leaving. In fact, there's a data that showed that about 15, is it 50 or 15 companies that's had to leave Nigeria in the past 3 years. I don't know if I'm getting that right. Let me see. Where I said about 50, yeah? Where is that English? Okay. If I find it, I'll bring it out. About 50 multinationals have had to leave Nigeria in the last 3 years. That's according to NECA now, saying that one. So my question really is, what must happen for government to be seen as serious? Okay?
First of all, you have to be friendly.
What do you mean? They didn't slap the Austrian embassy officials when they went to government house?
No, but for example, you don't even reply a letter. Come on, what is that?
Are you sure they received that letter? Are you sure it was
properly submitted? The Austrian embassy sent it with DHL. It was tracked and it was received in the government house. Okay. There is no excuse.
Okay.
This and the past government are not investment friendly.
Now, you said this happened in October, and that's also when the political crisis in Rivers State started. Could that have been a distraction?
It's not. Let me be very friendly here now.
All right.
Before
I need you to be very friendly.
It's nobody's business. Okay, you're working here, right?
Okay.
You're an employee of this company, right?
Okay.
Let's say you don't come to work for 2 weeks, and the CEO of this house calls you and you say, please, I'm not in the mood now. I have issues at home with my spouse. Are you serious? Look, the government has to work. You have to work. I have to work. Everybody has to work. There is no excuse, political crisis or not. People were elected, people were put in office to make sure that the well-being of Rivers people is guaranteed. It's nobody's business if you have a crisis or not. What people need is food on the table. And how do you get this food on the table? With industries. Rivers State has no industries. And it is intentionally so. I'm not even trying to pretend like, this or that. It is a grand plan to make sure that the youths remain on their knees.
I do not believe it. I find it very difficult. Maybe something that we'll have to really look deep.
Well,
because I know that, in fact, even on Nigeria Info, we have the RIRS playing their ads and saying, come file your annual returns. And of course, if we have lots of multinationals in this state, they will file bigger, higher returns, if you know what I mean. So, I don't know.
But does your state have a proper investment promotion agency?
Okay.
We have to look deep into things. I base in Austria. Every year, there's an African Day in Austria.
Okay.
And every year, I see Lagos State in Austria.
I was going to say that. In fact, they didn't just appear in Lagos. They made a lot of noise when they went there. They went there with their culture and all. There was a lot of noise. And the governor was there as well and telling them, come and invest in Lagos.
No, Lagos is all over the world looking for investors as well. Kano State.
So you think the Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce is not in that business? They're not doing that. They're not promoting. And what do you call it again?
Investment Promotion Agency.
We don't have anything.
We don't have. In this River State, we don't have. And if we have, they should come out and show themselves. Where have you been? Are you serious? I've never seen anything about even. Okay, let me give you an example. Just on 30th of October, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, the head of government, was in Nigeria, in Lagos State. He dropped 700 million euro. He invested more than 700 million euro in Lagos State in Nigeria. The funny thing is that I told the government, I told members of the government, look, these Germans are coming. Nobody even reacted or even came. I said, send at least someone. I can introduce you to different people I work with. I have Deutsche Bank, German bank, that told me they are interested in financing Rivers banks that want to provide money for projects.
Okay.
For example.
All right.
Yes. There's Commerzbank. There are other banks, and I met an investor that wants to invest into mechanized farming, agriculture in River State. How all these people, if the government can just open up and say, we're ready to receive them, I'll bring them. But anything business, lands on deaf ears in this state. And that is the problem. Look at Enugu. I was in Enugu last year, November. They opened 5 factories in Enugu from Austria.
Enugu?
Yes.
Enugu State?
Enugu State.
Okay.
Enugu State. I was there.
5
factories. 5 foreign companies opened 5 factories.
Foreign companies
Austria.
opened 5
Yes.
companies in
And-
Enugu State.
Yes. And
we are 0 here in our River State.
0. We only have Cap and Polo youths that are posting the hell out of their Facebook accounts every day, talking about Wiki and Simant, politics, PDP, APC, all united in poverty. It's so shameful that a Riversman like me had to go to Enugu to accompany Austrian politicians and business tycoons.
Did they choose Enugu or?
They were in talks with River State since 2019.
Okay, and how did that go?
It didn't go well because of the past
What was the
administration.
problem? I would like to know what the problem
Because
is.
there is no interest. As the former governor used to say, if he did, they didn't they. There's no interest.
Okay, now, is there a lack of capacity or lack of knowledge of how these things work? Could there be a lack of, like you said, you're from River State. You said body language. What if there isn't any knowledge of how these things are done, how to better position the government or showcase this body language?
It's first a philosophical matter.
All right.
Is there a political will to create a business-friendly habitat in this state?
Okay, what does that look like?
And it's no, because the past and the present is evident that it is.
What does a business-friendly habitat look like?
For example, first and for all, you communicate properly with foreign embassies and foreign investors.
Reply emails, reply
For example,
letters.
reply letters, or maybe
When you are invited, you go, right?
Yes. These are basic manner, like this is decorum. And when people read their body language and say these people are not serious, they go where
Tell me
they're
about
serious.
Austria. What if the government is just not interested because they're looking for a big fish? Tell me about Austria.
Austria is a country with 8.5 million inhabitants and that has the same GDP as Nigeria. Nigeria with 230 million people. Austria is one of the 10 richest countries in the world. Austria is a kind of smaller version of Germany because they're all German speaking.
Yeah.
There is no bigger fish in Austria. Come on. Austria, Germany, the only bigger fish is Germany, and even the Germans are interested. Okay, right now, I challenge the River State government. If they truly want to create employment, they should allow the Germans to come in January. The German AHK, the German delegation of industry and commerce in Nigeria wants to come to River State in January.
What has stopped that? Has anything stopped that?
You send a letter to the government house and people that are in charge of receiving letters will not reply the letter intentionally. Everybody's just scared. Nobody wants to do anything in this state. They just want to sit in their office and let their children enjoy abroad. Their children are all living abroad.
Should I play you the governor's voice this morning saying that he's committed to good governance?
It is not to say it, you are committed. Show walking. Show me the proof. Receive the Austrians, receive the Germans and see let's see that you're committed. It's a little, this will not take more than 1 month to organize them coming. Okay, if they want to receive the Commercial Council of Austria now, they should tell me. I'll make a phone call today and we'll arrange an appointment. I dare them. If they truly want this state to improve, I dare them.
Okay, now the phone lines are going to be open now. I'm opening the phone lines and I would like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about what Mr. Emeka is saying? The question has been, is the government doing enough to attract foreign investments in River State? He said, no, they are not doing enough. They've done nothing to improve our 0 figure that we had last year where we didn't attract any foreign investors. He said nothing has been done. Government seems uninterested. Body language isn't saying that they are interested. Comparing them to Lagos, where the governor is always up about. I told you about Africa Day. I saw the photos all over social media. The governor was there interacting not just with Nigerians in diaspora, even the people over there. And he's just also told us about. I need to fact check that, by the way, Assor. When you say that 5 foreign investors invested and brought in 5 companies in Enugu State.
Not only that, they're training 1,000 Enugu youths.
Okay.
And many of them have gone abroad. And
I'll need to fact check that.
Yeah,
really.
fact checked it because I was there. I sent you the pictures.
And that's a very key one there. So what do you think about all of this? The phone lines are open now. 0817 923 0002. You can also call 0817 923 0003. Is the government doing enough to attract foreign investments in River State? Do you even have your own experience where you've gone to, show maybe a PowerPoint presentation to perhaps the River State Executive Council? How was that received? What's your experience when it comes to trying to bring in foreign investors to invest in your own business, and then looking at the government, or trying to, Emeka is from River State, and he says in his own experience he's made these efforts based on his own work as an Austrian-based person, and it's frustrating. From what he's saying, he's demonstrated that it's quite frustrating trying to make all of those efforts. What do you think? 0817 923 0009 is also another number that you can call. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're on Talking Figures. What are your thoughts?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
What are your thoughts? Is the government doing enough to attract foreign investments in River State? Okay. Yeah, you can call me back. Hello, good afternoon. Okay. Let's speak just from MOI LGA. Hello, good afternoon, Justice.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes. I want to greet your guest in the studio.
Good day.
Emeka.
Dearly.
Yes, this Comrade Omodo Justice. Yes. What the leader of FN is saying in the studio is a reality. All we are talking about is industrial revolution in River State, and the River State has been silent when it comes to industry. Now we want to urge the present governor of River State to ensure that industry is being looked upon, because industry generates employment to the youth. So that is what we are canvassing for. We want the government to look at it to ensure that proper thing is being done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts there. And what do you think? What do you think of what he said?
Well, exactly what he said. The River State government should ensure that industrial revolution can take place and people live a life in dignity with bread. But as I said, it's not in the government's interest. So, yeah, that's that.
All right. I'm not sure what has happened to my phone lines here. I cannot see. Everything just wiped out all of a sudden. And I'm not sure what has happened here. But you can still try to call in. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good day, Manchester. What the man in the studio with you there is talking about is true. You can report very well. You see what the governor, the former governor has just done in the state, during the past election. You will know that actually the politicians in River State here, they are not just ordinary politicians, but they rule the state with evil spirit. And they don't want any of these youth in this state to become something, so that they are able to control them. You say when these youth have something in their pocket and seem to grow up, it's as if they will not listen to them. So they thereby make a plan to bring them to this level so that they can have every right over them, to control them to the way they feel controlling them. You see, so what they say, he has given a testimony to actually what they said. Let me give you another from Mugoni. We had a man doing mix-up. When they went for a meeting with Kensaru, I had a copy of that paper that came from that meeting with me. That Kensaru said that the least brother of Ugoni, but then this was a big car in Nigeria. He said when the struggle works, that now of Ugoni come to Mercedes Benz. Do you know what Dr. Leto said? He said if the least brother of Ugoni, the late Dr. Leto, if the least brother of Ugoni, based on the Mercedes Benz, who are there will be in some car That such a man in a place who never wants his place to develop. When they want to develop his place, he wants the people in his place to be competent at 0 point. And I know that these people are doing this. I have so many instances to read. This man today, where is he? And let me give you another instance again. I was putting a reason farm. The man, I'm in this company by then, he has a reason farm. But there was a man who was some sort of administrator who was brought to reason farm. That man, in that company, the ages of that man, his father's mate, his mother's mate, the man of his children mate of India. Because his children were kids. When the company fails, this man now, hold on this money. He will never give this money to the company. So he will use this money to train his children in a high school in Lagos. Let me call you, let me record that. You can remember one plane crash that happened in River State. I want to return air crash that happened. A man, the children of this man died instantly. And that is man inside of our money. Suffering us. Can you say that? So when people use this evil-mindedness to read, God has a way to pay them back. Another instance. Look at what that happened to Emeka. He was told that when he was buying tickets to all these thousands of assembly members, even to the National Assembly, that it will revert back to him against him. When again, he would have agreed. So by what this man is saying, I would not simply agree with him. Except these people will turn a new life and remember that there is God and that they were elected in and forget that selfish-mindedness and believe that the people were the people who elected them and they must say that. Because they make set up against policies, people. So how then would they use us as ignorance? Does it mean we don't know what people that we elected them? So if things move right now, he knows what he's actually doing. Let him stand as a man and sit as a man. Let him bring the difference from let him show the difference in between the last administration and this present administration. People will follow him. People will look down to God. People will glorify them. When the righteous rule, the people is God. Thank you. And God bless you.
All right, thank you for your thoughts there. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't know everything that happened in that situation, but it sounds similar. It's out politicians making sure that the youths remain on their knees because the only thing Rivers politicians can offer our youths is cap and polo. They give you a cap, they give you a polo, they give you 2,000 naira to go out for a rally. But you don't ask yourself, what do their own children do? Are their children receiving 2,000 naira for cap and polo, or they're receiving $2,000 for school fees abroad or whatever? I think it's also the fault of the youths because they are enabling these politicians and emboldening them to oppress them.
Interesting. Now, I have a message here on WhatsApp. Okay, sent it in from Romo Dumaya. He says, I think your guest is being mischievous. The governor said today that he was organizing an economic summit. I dare him to invite all those he wants to invite to participate in that summit. I am not happy that a Riversman like him could not shout loud for all to hear when the former governor felt that all we need here are overhead bridges in the name of flyovers. What did you think about the flyovers?
Economic zero value.
Really?
Absolutely. Because are you going to chew the flyover? If you use that same money and set up 14 factories exporting goods abroad, you will see that the River State will be like Austria.
Now, I'm going to ask you what we should do next. Where do we go from here? That question after this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Mr. Sam, and I am calling you from Lebanon. I want to appreciate the courage of your guests and your own courage as well. May God bless both of you. The previous administration failed this at job creation. They were completely intolerant of any form of job creation. They were interested at demolition. During the COVID-19, the former governor intentionally demolished hotels built by people, built by individuals who, through that means, provided job opportunities for people, just because he had it as a perception that house was a unit that was generating that environment. He went and demolished it. That man never built any single factory. The ones that were built by the former administration, all the farm this and that. All of them got closed down. Even though the position that
we'll be right back. Let's go on this break, okay? We'll be right
For
back.
more talk, news and
Having a conversation here talking about the foreign investments we've been able to attract in River State and whether government has done enough. And so much has been said here already. We have to wrap up now. And in a minute, what can you tell the government to do? You've heard that there's economic summit coming up.
If the government is serious and they have the mind they say they have, they should open up and see if I'll not bring the investors and the foreign diplomats.
Why are you working alone? Why are you not working with like a body or a group? Or why like a...
Is there any group functioning in River State? Who do you want me to work with, please?
Okay.
There was zero investment brought in last year. You said it yourself. And you want me to work with who?
Okay.
The state is in a state of fear. Nobody wants to do anything. You can't even if you approach people, everybody is dragging their foot. Let's be honest. River State is in bondage right now. Nobody wants to walk and do anything. Nobody wants to stick up his head.
Okay.
You know? So if the state is serious and they are not out for photo ops and empty promises, let them come and know that I'm available. I will bring the Germans and Austrians. Guaranteed. If they give me green light, 1 year is too much to create at least one industry here because I have them lined up.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike Assor there, Rivers man who lives in Austria.
Emeka Assor.
Emeka Assor, sorry. I think I saw all the WhatsApp messages that have come in. Sorry, I cannot take any of them anymore. And we're going to be back next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m. is the time. We're continuing this conversation. I will have a different guest join us, and we'll continue to see how we can attract foreign investment into Rivers State. Stay safe. Choma is my name. See you next week. All right, have a wonderful time. Rivers Today is up next. After that, Hard Facts Kalada will be here. Until then, have a good one.